Hello, everybody. It's time for another Monday movie review. And this episode is gonna be about another weird movie. This one's called This Is Not a Movie from 2011. I have to specify the year because there are a bunch of movies that have This Is Not a Movie as a title. Um, yeah. This one's weird. Because honestly, it just feels like Edward Furlong having an existential crisis on film. I don't mean like the character he's playing. I just mean like Edward Furlong was having an existential crisis in this fucking movie. Um, if you don't know who Edward Furlong is, John Connor from T2. Um, yeah. Takes place entirely, almost entirely, I should say, in a hotel room in Las Vegas at a not real casino. It starts off with two versions of Edward Furlong, um, talking and drinking and smoking. Uh, then a fucking ghost appears, who's known as Ghost of Jimmy. Uh, and then a fourth character shows up, but it's just a third version of Edward Furlong, who appears to be a fucking stoner who has the starting of dreads and a shitty soul patch. And honestly, all I could see in that character was Danny Temporelli. If you don't know who it is, if you don't know who that is, Google. But he was in a bunch of like Nick shit in the 20s. The 20s, the fucking 90s, the 20s. Now I just can't think. Now I have this fucking the 20s, the song by Ghost stuck in my head. And yeah, it's a lot of philosophizing. I can see it not being everybody's cup of tea. It wasn't really my cup of tea. It was kind of boring. It kind of was. Because again, it was just a bunch of talking, and it was like, except for one character, it was all Edward Furlong for a long time. So, and then it's like the third version of Edward Furlong says that he's in a. It like it gets a meta, and then like Edward Furlong just shoots and kills all the different versions of himself, and the ghost of Jimmy, I think. I don't know if I was there for when Ghost of Jimmy disappeared from the film. Um, but then Ghost of Jimmy kills like the original Edward Furlong. Um, then like the best part of the movie was like the trailers they made for like in-universe stuff, which like it was actually like kind of cool. And then he meets his creator because it turns like there's this whole thing of this isn't a movie, this isn't a screenplay, you know, like I'm not fictional. Blah, blah, blah. Then he meets his creator, who's like this writer, who's like this, who was this propagandist and shit, and like had all these different lives, and then it just ends with like the author presumably killing himself, which then killed Edward Furlong's character. And that's kind of the movie in a nutshell. Well, it wasn't really my cup of tea. I could see this being someone's cup of tea, but it's not my cup of tea. This is fucking. I don't like weird meandering shit, even though that's basically what my channel is, or was for a long time. Just me randomly meandering about shit, and I'm kind of meandering about this movie. But I'm not a movie studio. I'm not a fucking writer. Yeah, so watch it, I guess, if you want to see what it's like to kind of see a different side of Edward Furlong. And he's also in Arachnoquake, which is a fucking thing I gotta talk about. Because we watched that movie, which had him in it, and it was just. His career has kind of been up and down. But yeah, anyway, ta-ta, have a wonderful fucking day. This movie's just really weird. And not necessarily my kind of weird. I like Japanese movies kind of weird. Like I like Ryuhei Kitamura kind of weird, and not really. There's not a lot of movies that do that kind of weird shit. But like anime, like Keep It Made War does it, and which I've talked about, and I'm actually going to talk about your boy Kong Ming because that's also kind of fucking bizarre. Anyway, peace out.